The Sichuan online website has the story of a kindergarten teacher in Yunnan province who used a syringe to punish toddlers for misbehavior. The site says worried and angry parents reported the case as child abuse to local police. In her defense, the 24-year-old teacher said keeping discipline in a class of 37, 3- and 4-year-olds was too much for her. She has since been relieved of her duties and detained by police. The 20 or so children who had been jabbed with the same syringe are to have blood tests for HIV and other infectious diseases. The Changcheng Evening News has the disturbing story of a school where children have to sleep on the floor, but it isn't the school's fault. In fact, more than 100 kids at Hechuan District Longxi Middle School are in this position because their new beds are simply too weak to support them. The principal's assistant told the paper the 400 new beds were purchased by the district government for the new semester. The school refused to accept them as substandard and asked for replacements, but this never happened. However, public pressure does seem to be working, and the paper reports there are promises that new beds will arrive at the school in time to ensure these stoic pupils won't have to spend their winter sleeping on the floor. Now, recently, the U.S. was stunned by the story of a young Colorado boy who was thought to have been carried into the air aboard a weather balloon. While that story turned out to be a hoax, this one about the kid carrying kite in China isn't. The Guangzhou Daily reports the launch of a massive kite in the city of Shantou in southern China. Kite maker Chen Wangsong is the designer of the 140-meter-long dragon head kite, which he has even used to carry a young child into the sky. With 8 people holding the kite down, Chen first experimented with lifting rocks before sending a 70-pound kid several feet into the air. The paper doesn't report if the child was his. RedNet has the story of a former Communist Party chief who is being investigated on suspicion of violating discipline. While that may not be good news for the official in question, 53-year-old Yi Guangmin, locals in Tao County in the southern province of Hunan seem far from devastated. The site reports crowds of revelers took to the streets to celebrate with singing and banners. Yin's detention has since been confirmed by the Provincial Commission for Disciplinary Inspection, although it gave no further details. The Southern Metropolitan has the story of a 45-year-old Huang Shanyi who spent 30 hours clinging to a high-voltage mast. The reason? He wants his ex-manager to pay him 120,000 yuan, around $18,000 in compensation for stealing his girlfriend. And according to local residents, this is not the first time the jilted lover has taken to such high-level protests to air his grievances. Just last December, he scaled another electricity pylon with the same demand. Unfortunately, on that occasion, his antics led to a partial blackout in the nearby cities of Shenzhen and Dongguan. This time, the authorities have lost patience, and Huang was arrested and sent to prison for 6 months. Anyone who visited the city of Shanghai will know that locals strolling the streets in pajamas is a fairly common sight. Now, according to Voice of China website, this quaint custom may come to an end, at least for the period of the city's much vaunted Expo 2010. The site says the municipal government has banned these spontaneous public pajamas parties for the duration, and it reports that while local residents agree that pajamas may not be suitable attire in public places, such as shops, banks, and parks, they don't deserve to be banned outright. Many Shanghaiers feel it is simply a matter of personal freedom. During last year's Olympic Games in Beijing, similar regulations were brought in banning taxi drivers from wearing slippers or singlets, as it was felt they gave visitors a bad image of the city. The China Daily has this picture of a replica of a very special classic veteran car. This is Dowager Empress Cixix's private car, a Duria imported from the United States in 1902. Made by the Duria's brothers, Charles and Frank, it was one of America's first gasoline-powered cars, and this particular model is said to be the first automobile recorded in China. Other old classic car replicas were also displayed at this exhibition held in the northeastern city of Shenyang. These included a vintage Rolls-Royce, a 1903 Ford, and a number of early Mercedes-Benz. Well, legend has it that the Dowager Empress fortified her driver with rice wine before he set off on his debut drive. Sadly, he then proceeded to run over a palace eunuch, possibly China's first DUI. And that's today's Media Watch, and in fact, that is all for the team here at BON News for now.